Today, the role of age in language learning by Marcus, Suri, Christopher, and Hector. What are their implications in psycholinguistics? Please keep on track tonight.
When it comes to learning a second language, experts agree there's a critical period for acquiring said language. Past this period, learning a second language can be very difficult, if not impossible. However, recent research argues in favor of a sensitive period hypothesis, which acknowledges the importance of age, but does not think of it as the ultimate factor to consider. Some long-standing evidence supporting the notion of a critical period hypothesis is that of the feral children. A good example of a feral child is Tarzan, who grew up away from people and consequently never learned to speak. A modern, real example is Jeannie Wiley, who grew up in isolation and, despite intensive therapy and efforts to help her, never acquired native-like competence in English.
It has been widely agreed upon that a critical period for acquiring a first language exists. However, to make the same claim about L2 learning is controversial. This proposal led to the conception of two diverging notions of this hypothesis. First, the exercise hypothesis states that the initial human language aptitude is preserved if it is harnessed to learn a second language before it disappears. On the other hand, the maturational state hypothesis declares that regardless of the frequency with which the language aptitude is used, it will disappear at the age of maturation. While there is a sizable amount of evidence that supports a critical period during which native-like capabilities can be developed, it is more fitting to suggest that there are multiple critical periods for different aspects of language.
After considering the CPH arguments, there are two studies in favor of the sensitive period that demonstrated that age is not the ultimate factor for being proficient. The first study was carried out in 2013 for the University of Beijing with Chinese late bilinguals. Researchers basically used a magnetic resonance to observe the brain patterns of activation in contrast with English native speakers. As a result, they found the late bilinguals were proficient even though they used their first language to learn the structures of the second one.
Another study that disproved the CPH is the one that was made at the University of Alabama at Birmingham by James Fleck, Grace Jenny Comchian, and Serena Liu, where they evaluated the CPH for second language acquisition of 240 native speakers of Korean who differ their age of arrival in the United States. What they find out is that their score in the test is directly based on how much education the Korean participant had received in the United States, and not how old they are. I bet you didn't expect that.
These opposing arguments have caused debate among researchers. However, they also have provided some hope for those whose language learning had begun after the suggested age.